want to say something first. The comptroller had us buy comptroller licensings, and they were little stickers that you put on every one of the machines.
You don't need to. I'm going to put them on the side here. Right with this number. That number is right here. Is the machine number 405122. The tax number is 052624. Both recorded here and on my clipboard. If you want to take a look, just David scan all this. Slower than that. Scan the whole room. Got several. The ones we're going to sticker in this room. It's going to be. But anyway, at any rate, at the end, the very last one, I'll come back on and I'll tell you how many we got into this location. All right, that's fine. Electronic device.
So they knew how many machines we had, where we had them, and
what they were making.
We paid a lot of money to get these stickers. So we were above board on, a lot of these game rooms. They didn't have stickers on. They
wouldn't let everybody in. They would. You had to show you were a member, and they wouldn't let people in. No, we didn't do any of that. Anybody can come in.
Did you ever go to a drive-in movie theater?
Yeah.
Okay. So you remember when the movie was over and everybody would line up behind each other in the cars and go out the little exit, and it was just takes a long time to get out there. Well, we had a big picture window in our above the
offices.
Yeah, we had apartments and whatnot, and we would just sit up there and watch these cars come into our place. Like it looked like a movie theater getting out. That's what it looked like coming into our place.
This was after we had the approvals.
Well, yeah, and we had 2,000 members, 2,000 independent contractors, and that's after what we've been going through there. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And
so when we left Vandergrift's office and went downstairs, after the Vandergrift said, "You need to meet with the sheriff," we go out, get out of the elevator, walk into the lobby, and we're standing there talking with our lawyer in the lobby, and he goes, "I didn't even know who this guy was. I've never seen the sheriff. If I've said D. Anderson, you block that out." And so there he was, standing there by the elevator.
Keep it.
He said standing over there by the elevator. And so I said, and our lawyer goes, there he is right there. And I said, well, let's go talk to him. What are we doing? So we all went over there, and the lawyer was like, we've been trying to get a hold of you. And we, told him who we were and what we were doing and how we wanted to, if we could not do this. And we had several phone calls into his office, and we got all this stuff recorded. And if we can't do it right, we've been in business too long. We don't want any problems. We'll just shut the doors. If we can't do it, we can't do it. But we want to get your approvals so we can carry on. And so we go over there, and
I remember a phone call I made to his office, and I said, if I'm doing anything wrong, we'll just stop.
We'll shut the doors, and
we don't want any trouble.
Yeah. We just want a meeting with you. So we see him after that at the lobby, and he says, "Oh, I don't know. You've been trying to call, or I don't know anybody's, And he says, "Yeah, well, I'll sit down with you guys. Sure, of course. Yeah, of course. I'll sit down with you. Yeah, just get a hold of my office and set up a meeting. Yeah, done deal. Oh, okay, yeah, cool, yay, And so we leave, and then our lawyer keeps trying to call. He said, I've called so many times, and we were calling and calling and calling and calling and calling and heard nothing, right? So we're operating, place coming to our place, and we've got the people going out and getting their own gift or their own gifts. They buy people contractors would buy bags of concrete and tools and all kinds of stuff, and they bring us the receipt.
Down to gasoline, they'd go buy gasoline because gas was like $1 a gallon or something like that. And
so they'd get, and then we'd reimburse them for like we did our employees when they'd go get,
we wouldn't let them buy alcohol or cigarettes.
Yeah, I couldn't buy nothing like that. So, and this was all approved by Vandergriff, and then we were trying to get D. Anderson, and the DA had seen it. But anyway, so that goes on for a while, and so I'm out on a date, and I'm out to dinner and having sushi or whatever in Dallas, and Steve, the sheriff's department was just here. I said, yeah, and he goes, yeah, and they just wanted to see how we're operating. I said, oh, good. I said, so he says, yeah, I gave them all the contracts. I gave them, how we were doing it and everything they wanted. I gave it to them. And, well, you could tell that. Go ahead. Shouldn't be.
Well, that's fine. You know the story. They came in, they went, and I gave them a tour. I gave them all my independent contractor agreement, took them into the office, showed them the 2,000 members, and
nobody touches the cash,
and and how we did everything, everything he just went through, going to get their own stuff, blah blah blah, showing them and they said the only thing that we see here is that you need to display some items. Well, we'd already done that and took it away because nobody liked it. So we put it back up. And they said, oh, and you can't, we were having buffets. Okay. We were giving food to the people around the neighborhood. I didn't care who came in. They were just filling their plates full of chicken and, all this. It looked like going into Luby's or something, just a, big spread. We were making so much money, that
you see people.
I felt guilty about how much money we were making, and so I was giving it back. I was giving it back to the neighborhood.
You see people coming in, and they're like, you knew they had kids, and they'd be just filling up, and they'd go out there and we'd give them sacks and stuff and go, yeah, it's fine, and they're like, you're feeding my family, and that's okay, go.
So anyway, they said, you can't do that. You can't give that away. You can't give Cokes away. You can't give coffee away. You can't do any of that. It's enticement.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we won't do that. So I started charging 10 cents for Cokes, 10 cents for coffee, 10 cents for the food. And we got more people coming in. And it was just like, we can't stop these people from coming here. And they loved this. And I don't understand why they did that. But anyway.
So you made some of these changes after at the request of the sheriff's office, effectively.
Yeah, so they said, do these things and you guys can operate.
So Mike tells me this, what just happened. I'm on dinner, and I said, man, that's fantastic. I said, we're done. This is it. This is the okay, and they told you that if anything was wrong, the sheriff would get a hold of us, and so we're like, yeah, fantastic. So we put it up on the wall that we've been approved, and everything looks good at this point. And our lawyer wrote it up, and everything. And so, and we really started, and that got around, that, and it even got busier. And that's when we made about 50 grand in a day, and it was like crazy. So, one day I'm there in the shop and doing whatever I was doing in the office, and one of our attendants comes up to me or calls me up and says, Steve, someone wants to talk to you out in the lobby. And I said, okay. I said, who is it? I don't know who it is,
Hey, I'll be right back. I gotta go to the restroom.
No,
Oh.
go on.
You want me to wait?
No, you're
Go
good.
ahead.
You're good. Yeah, you can continue the story.
So I go down, she tells me that someone wants to see me in the lobby. So I go down, and this guy's standing out by the front door. And he introduces himself, and he says, I'm representing the sheriff. And I said, okay. He says, looks like you guys need some protection around here. I said, what do you mean protection? He says, well, it's an evil world, and people could rob you or whatever. I said, well, I got people, And he goes, well, he says, the sheriff wants to see if you'll donate to his campaign. I said, donate to his campaign. I said, what do you mean? He says, well, actually, a monthly thing. And he said, 10%. And he's looking around. He goes, 10% would be a fair, protective figure. And I went, what are you talking about? Bribing? What? I said, that sounds like a bribe to me. I said, get the hell out of here. I said, there's the door that you came in, turn around and head out. Because what went through my mind is, like a flash, people are evil, and I just thought I'd be wrapped up in that, which this is probably what they do, to let people operate and let, like Billy Bob's and them, that they're giving to the sheriff,
Yeah.
so we don't go in and stop them giving away $2,500 saddles and stuff, and we're giving $5 items. So I told him to get out. I said, just get out. And he's like, okay. And he just turned around and walked away. And that was confusing to me at the time, but now looking back, not so confusing. You want to wait till Mike gets here, because this is when it gets
Yeah, no, we'll give him
pretty
a minute.
hairy. Huh?
We can give him a minute.
Yeah, he's old.
This is this is where the story gets crazy.
People have to adapt, like even what's going on now with all this AI stuff, all this stuff is going to be to the wayside. Lost.
Well,
I thought, go ahead.
we thought that if we would take that offer, that would be a bribe, and that we could be charged with a felony.
Yeah.